So for your ex to decide that getting back together is the right thing to do, they typically go through this emotional journey after a breakup. And they pass through these 5 specific stages, and that's what I'll be talking about in this video. That said, please note that these stages, they don't always follow the exact order I will be presenting. Depending on the breakup, so whether it was amicable or more explosive, your ex may start at different points along this, stages spectrum. Most exes, they begin at what we call the relief stage, but depending on post-breakup actions, they may move forward or backslide to earlier stages like the elation stage, the grief and regret stage, and so on. Now we will dive into each of these stages, starting with the first, relief stage. So in this stage, your ex feels, as the name implies, immense relief. They might feel like you don't understand them, or like you didn't understand them, that you took them for granted, or that you've obstructed their freedom and personal growth. Now, to validate these feelings, they may tell friends and family how difficult the relationship was and how happy they are to finally be free. And believe me, this is all normal. And while you may want your ex to feel regret and remorse, please, it's really important to accept their initial sense of relief. Remember, they likely thought about breaking up with you for weeks or months before they actually pulled the plug, before they actually pulled the trigger. They may have even considered other romantic options. So bottom line, don't take this stage personally, because it's human nature to compare partners. The worst thing you can do during this stage is to chase after them, as it will only push them further and further away. Now, as for stage 2, it's all about elation. This is the elation stage. So after the initial relief, your ex will feel free and happy to do whatever they want with whomever they want. They might start going to new places, for example. As a reaction to this stage, they might start posting really weird, provocative, different content on social media, and they may start dating more people than usual. Some exes might even change their entire personality during this time as they rediscover themselves. And this really is what this stage is all about, rediscovery. And now, while it is possible that your ex is just putting up a facade to make you jealous, envious, it is also possible they are genuinely enjoying their newfound freedom. So stay realistic and don't take their behavior too seriously. Let them have their fun and do not interfere. Because if you reach out now, if you start chasing after them, they might see you as just a backup plan, which will only show a lack of self-respect on your side, and it will in turn push them further away. Now, as for stage 3, it's the comparison stage. So once the elation fades, your ex, the theory goes, they will begin comparing you to their new dates. And this stage, it makes them way more likely to think about you, to check your social media because of this constant comparisons, right? Because, not everyone will necessarily measure up. Not everyone will be a good comparison to you. So putting all of that into consideration, maybe your ex will start to feel something for you. Maybe they will go as far as to stalk you on social media or something, right? And if you've maintained no contact, so you didn't reach out or chase after them all this time, they might even go and visit places that you used to go together, partly to reminisce, partly to grieve. And then the reflection that comes after grief, after reminiscing your relationship, well, it makes your ex think about your relationship with way more clarity and fondness, often realizing that not all the blame lies with you. Now, this shift in mindset, in thinking, is what often leads to an increase in attraction and brings your ex into the next stage, stage number 4, the grief and regret stage. Now, during this stage, your ex begins to feel the loss of your relationship, And loss is always painful, and your ex will start grieving very intensely as a result, which may eventually lead, if you've gave them enough space and if there's still enough attraction left on their side, it will lead them to reach out to you. However, do note that it's very unlikely that they will just be super upfront and when they reach out to tell you something or text you something like, I miss you, or let's get back together. Instead, what they will probably do is reach out very subtly with usually excuses like, hey, this movie reminded me of you, or I found something of yours, do you want it back? Or maybe even like, how's it going? Like, these indirect contacts are just signs of interest. When your ex reaches out for any personal reasons, it's just a good indicator that they may be open to reconnecting, even if it's just all very casual at first. And that's what leads us to stage number 5, getting to know each other again, right? Now, this is the final and the usually most exciting and maybe also the most scary part of the process, the most exciting and scary stage. So once you had a few successful interactions, ideally you start dating again. And it's at this point where you focus on reconnecting emotionally, where you share your experiences since the breakup, you talk about your values and your beliefs, you connect on a deeper level during, of course, in-person interactions. Now, keep things lighthearted when you're in this scenario, keep things fun. Don't shy away, of course, from deep conversations when they come up, but don't be a downer. And of course, most importantly, probably, you should be getting physical at this point, at this stage, because rekindling a relationship means also rekindling intimacy. So after a few weeks or months of casual dating, of casual hooking up, then you can transition into a committed relationship. But that's a story for another time. That's a story for just another video. Now, in a perfect world, your ex would go through these stages by the book. And you would work on yourself, you would become a better person, and voila, you would ultimately wind up together and you would stay together. But who are we kidding? We both know that's just not reality. Odds are your ex will, at some stage, decide to move on. And I want you to anticipate this. It can happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it very often does happen. So maybe they meet someone else, be it a rebound or not. Maybe they rekindle things with a previous ex, or perhaps they simply decide that getting back together with you isn't worth it because you either turn them off too much, or they maybe realize that you are simply incompatible in terms of personal values and life goals and all that good stuff. Now, this is the bleak reality of getting an ex back. And while yes, it is possible to get them back after they moved on, it's just not something that happens often. That said, by staying in no contact, by respecting their space, their need for space, and their decision to break up with you, so they can go through these stages alone without your interference, well, that's what, in my opinion, will give you the best shot at mending things. So just don't cave and waste it by going on this panicky, anxiety-induced chasing spree, okay? So that's it for this video. If you want to go deeper into my process for getting back with an ex, if you want additional tips and advice on this topic, you should download my free reattraction cheat sheet. The link to download this free resource is in the description below this video. Just click it, it's free again, and well, enjoy the free cheat sheet. With that said though, thanks for watching and take care.